Buenas, ¿me escuchan? Para empezar, gracias Aleco. Yo fui nominado para ser embajador a Panamá, pero fui nominado, pero no fui confirmado, dado el cambio de las elecciones. Antes de ser el nominado de Estados Unidos a la República de Panamá, yo era el director estadounidense en el Banco Mundial. Y antes de eso he pasado, qué sé yo, 20, 25 años en una carrera financiera en Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, etc. Primero, le quiero dar las gracias al congresista Pittenger. Estoy muy honrado de haber estado invitado a esta reunión. Y gracias a Lucas, que es su asistente, que siempre está detrás de mí, detrás de todo el mundo, y gracias a Aleco. Pues hoy no voy a hablar sobre política, pero voy a hablar sobre monedas digitales y como hasta cierto punto es más fácil para mí explicar estas cosas en inglés y dado que he escrito un discurso en inglés voy a cambiar, me disculpan, voy a cambiar al inglés para hablar sobre este tema. So switching here to English very quickly. I'm going to talk about the fact that the world has been awash in cryptocurrency fever. What is a cryptocurrency? I'm going to talk a little bit about this. What is a central bank digital currency? I'll discuss that as well. What is a stable coin? All of these things are remarkably absent from an educational perspective, but they have profound national security implications. So let me begin with what I would call bipolar cryptocurrency fever. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum and so forth. You may recall that during the pandemic, Bitcoin rose 5 times and then it crashed precipitously. Since then, a crypto token called Luna crashed and took $90 billion of capital with it. More recently, a cryptocurrency exchange called FTX burned spectacularly. But this is a sideshow, and the sideshow has been distracting us from what we should look at because it affects national security, and that is central bank digital currencies. So the latest Bank for International Settlements survey says that 90% of central banks around the world are looking at creating their own version of currencies. Digital currencies, but for the country. More recently, the United States, the Biden administration issued a white paper and an executive order that called for, among other things, looking into the creation of a US digital currency. But look, before going further, let's take a step back and explain what a digital currency, a central bank digital currency is. So, quite simply, it is legal tender, official government tender just in a digital form. So you can have a dollar bill, that's a piece of paper, or you can have 100 pennies, or you can have 4 quarters, or you can have a QR code, all issued by the same source. It's all legal tender, okay? So a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, is basically digital cash. You guys with me? Okay. So, is this digitalization of cash, is it inevitable? So, the other day, I found in a drawer a VHS tape, okay? And I looked at it and I showed it to my kids. I said, oye niños, ven acá, mira esto. Mis hijos tienen, qué sé yo, 12, 10 y 14 años. Y ven el videocassette, ¿no? Y dicen, ¿qué es esto? Bueno, así es como yo veía películas. Y me decían, en los 1900. Sí, en los 1900. Pero el punto es que eso se ha convertido se convirtió en un DVD y eso se ha convertido en Netflix. Entonces, para mí, las monedas, vamos a ver piezas, monedas, billetes en museos. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to be, relics of the past, anachronisms. It is inevitable that money will be digital. So that's the second point I want to mention. Now, why are central banks doing this? What is the point of creating a digital version of currencies? Okay, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the good points, and then I'm going to talk about the biggest creator of digital currencies in the world, and that is China, and then I'm going to talk about national security implications. So, starting with what's the point of it? ¿Por qué los bancos centrales, el 90% de los bancos centrales en el mundo están investigando o emitiendo moneda digital? ¿Por qué? What's the point, right? Number one, good reason is inclusión financiera, financial inclusion. So you have many people around the world that don't have bank accounts, but maybe they have two cell phones, right? So if you can issue money on a digital wallet, it's going to be a lot easier, safer, more transportable, etc. Number two, governments can actually collect taxes. So right now, the tax to GDP ratio in the, let's call it the developed world, is over 50%, okay? That means that governments, the OECD world collects roughly 50% of GDP in taxes. In the developing world, in Africa, writ large, all right, it's not me. In Africa, it's 16%. So it's very hard to collect taxes. And so what if you could create a digital currency where you have a microscopic, almost you don't even notice it, almost unnoticeable commission in each transaction that could automatically go to the government? It would help the governments collect taxes, which means they don't have to rely on import tariffs, which hurt poor people, etc. So you can collect taxes, you can help bank the unbanked, you can expand how we trace illicit financial flows. I mean, I think we all agree that it's important to stop money laundering and transnational crime and other illicit activity. It's estimated that in Africa, 88.6, I had to look at that number twice, $88.6 billion leaves the African continent every year in illicit capital flight. 88 billion is the sum, if not more, than the annual inflows of official government assistance and foreign direct investment. So digital currencies have a lot of very valid use cases in promoting financial inclusion, tracing illicit financial flows, and so forth. But let's talk a little bit about China. And this is where, in China is where things get really, really interesting, because this is the direction in which things could go in the future. So, as I mentioned earlier, central banks around the world have been looking at issuing currencies for many years. 90% of central banks want to issue their own digital currencies. But only one country has been as singularly focused on this as China. Over the last decade, paper bills and coins have disappeared in China. In fact, the last time I was in China, you had beggars with signs that didn't say money. They had a QR code where you could scan money and give it to the beggar on the street. So after 8 years of work, okay, después de 8 años de trabajo, China lanzó su propia moneda digital. And this has created some very, very big headlines. So human rights organizations are very concerned about the power and the control that a digital currency can have over the citizens, right? And national security experts are expressing concern about the fact that the technology stack can be exported around the world. Let me say that again for emphasis. China has exported its technology. China's great at exporting things. So if they're exporting Huawei, get ready, because they're going to be exporting the technology that powers their digital currency around the world. Now, this matters because digital currencies represent a break from traditional currency systems. Physical cash is anonymous, okay? If I have it on my body, it's called a bearer instrument. I'll spare you all the, treasury economic stuff, but it's a bearer instrument and it's anonymous, okay? And while anonymous cash presents problems for, illicit activity, sometimes we have to balance that in the name of personal freedom, autonomy, and privacy. And China, their digital yuan, it's called the eCNY, their digital currency is designed specifically to do the exact opposite. Their currency is a surveillance tool disguised as a payments mechanism. It is designed specifically to enhance government control rather than protect individual freedoms. So we should expect that the Chinese government will use this to monitor their citizens 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Raise your hand if any of you have heard of the Chinese social credit score system. Okay, so here is, for those of you that don't know what it is, you have a social credit score in China that monitors everything you do. If you buy diapers, you're a good parent. Your credit score goes up. If you walk on the correct part of the street, your credit score goes up. If you go to a pro-democracy event in Hong Kong, your score goes way down. Everything in your life is monitored and controlled according to your social credit score. So imagine now that the government has access to everything you buy. So a person over here may have bought a case of wine. Are they an alcoholic, or are they having a party? And who's at that party? A person over there may have bought something very private that they don't want other people to know about, but the Chinese party will have eyes looking at everything you do. So it's a very big concern. Now, let's talk about why this is important for all of you. Many of you are parliamentarians, and many of you are going to be involved in legislation to create your own national digital currencies. Consider the following. China has expanded trade along the so-called Belt and Road to many, many countries around the world. So, for example, even in this hemisphere, Ecuador owes more money to China than it can ever pay back. Argentina owes money to the IMF, $50 billion. How are they going to pay that back? Well, maybe China can come in. Well, maybe China wants something. Maybe they want a port in Ushuaia. Maybe they want minerals out of Ecuador. But maybe they'll shave off a few $1 billion from the balance sheets of many countries in return for what? China can help you create your own digital money. And if you can't host it in your country, well, they can host it for you in a cloud in Beijing. So what I would encourage you to do is, as you look into the future of money, bear in mind the following three things. I've got 1 minute left. I got it. So bear in mind a couple of things. Digital money can be used for a lot of great things, but keep in mind that preserving privacy and freedom should be among them. Point number one. Number two, digital currencies are inevitable. They are coming. I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm not talking about Ethereum. These are central bank issued digital money. It is inevitable, okay? And number three, China will undoubtedly export their technology around the world, and it will be used as a surveillance tool and a grave national security threat. So these are all things that you should consider. So thank you very much, and ahora puedo, my 1 minute is up, and okay. So if anyone has, si tienen alguna pregunta, adelante. I made it in time. Thank you. I scared you all. Nadie tiene pregunta. Oh, I still have 5 minutes. Oh. Bueno, ¿alguien tiene preguntas? Hearing none. Thank you very much.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
¿Qué tal?
Mira, una pregunta. Si se consideraría como un threat todo esto que está haciendo China para esparcir su tecnología, pensaría yo que en ese orden de ideas probablemente Estados Unidos tenga una contraparte para el mismo desarrollo de tecnología. Entonces, la pregunta mía es, en un largo plazo, ¿cuál sería la solución para mitigar este problema en términos de que si se está usando una tecnología en algún país y alguna persona, digamos, va a mandar remittances o va a viajar o va a hacer algo, de qué manera, dado que ya no existirá el currency como lo conocemos, el cash, de qué manera se pueden hacer estos intercambios utilizando como digamos, un cross entre ambas tecnologías?
Bueno, los chinos están trabajando sobre un nuevo sistema que está fuera de las instituciones que tenemos ya existentes, por ejemplo el SWIFT. Ellos han creado su propio SWIFT que se llama CIPS. Y a ver cómo va eso. Con respecto a lo que está haciendo Estados Unidos, mira, la verdad es que no sé, porque tenemos lo que se llama un alphabet soup de reguladores, ¿no? Entre el SEC, ¿soy yo? El OCC, ¿qué será? Sí, los chinos. No quieren que hable. Bueno, tenemos tanta gente metida en el asunto que la verdad es que no sé cuándo Estados Unidos va a lanzar su propia moneda digital. Ahora, el Fed de Boston sí ha empezado una nueva tecnología que se llama Project Hamilton, que lo pueden googlear con la escuela de ingeniería de MIT. Pero esto es lo que viene. No sé si he respondido a la pregunta, pero Estados Unidos por su parte está tratando de hacer algo. Los chinos están intentando bypass, ¿no? el dólar y el sistema del dólar. Y seguro que los países amigos, entre comillas, de China, sea los rusos, los coreanos del norte, los iraníes, etcétera, van a sumarse a ese bloque de monedas y ese bloque de cross-border currency. Sí.
Buenas tardes. Quería hacerte una consulta